Toastmaster Julius Hong.
How many of you guys here love watching action movies such as Kingsman, Avengers, Lord of the Rings?
Not Lord of the Rings.
That's awesome. I love action movies too. I mean, who doesn't love the excitement of a secret agent infiltrating an enemy base and taking down all the bad guys? Or seeing two epic armies clash in a bloody battle for victory? Or maybe the simple joy of just seeing a giant robot punch a giant monster in the face. Now, the problem comes with a lot of people, especially in the US, is complaining that there is a lot of violence in the media nowadays, and that it's impressioning on children, it's making them more violent. And the cause of most of the juvenile delinquency and the violent behavior of our children is because of violence in media. So according to a study by Heinzman in 2003, he found that children or adolescents who watch TV violence was more prone to aggressive behavior, especially females, compared to adults. Now what this means is that when they watch violent media, they tend to be emotional, they get aggressive. So imagine yourself when you're watching boxing, or you're watching a particular sport, and your favorite team is winning, you get excited, you get rowdy. Or when it's losing, you get frustrated, you get angry, and you really want to hit something. That's the aggressive behavior you're talking about. And the belief that this aggressive behavior, after being exposed to it for too long, will become a norm and eventually lead to violent activities and then violent crimes. So, how much are we actually exposed? If this is a problem, then we need to first understand how much violence are we actually exposed to in the media. So according to a study in 1998 by Real Vision, a TV program, they found that a child growing up to the age of 18 is exposed to 200,000 acts of violence and 20,000 murders. So basically, by the time you're 18, you've already seen 20,000 people die. But who watches TVs nowadays? We're in the internet age, we're in the digital age. TV is a thing of the past. So let me bring something even closer home. In 2013, a study by the Entertainment Software Association found that 59% of Americans, which is 350 million people at the time, plays video games. And do you know what were the top 5 video games of that year? They were Call of Duty, Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed, Madden NFL, and the last one was Assassin's Creed, Madden NFL, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now out of those 5 games, 4 games, and imagine 59% of the people. So we have 189 million people playing a video game and pretending to murder, steal, kill, rob people, and essentially shoot everyone in the game. Now this is alarming. So with all this happening, it's no wonder that a lot of the parents, a lot of the media blames these sorts of violent activities, this sort of violence in media, for the causes of the problems in their child. So now we'd like to understand, if we are seeing an exponential increase in the amount of violence that we're observing compared to the past, there should be also an increase in violent crimes. So Tierra in 2003 did a study to find out about it, and he found that from 1995 to 2008, the amount of crimes in the USA has dropped by 36%. Violent crimes, to be exact. So that's strange, and it's funny. If we have so much violence in the media compared to the past, why is it that violent crimes in America has actually dropped? So in order to put things into perspective, we need to first understand 2 theories, namely the magic bullet theory. Most of the researchers in the past believed in the magic bullet theory, basically saying that if you watch something in TV, you will want to do it. If an ad tells you, buy this, you will buy it. If a show shows someone beating someone up, you would think that's acceptable, and you put it inside your brain, you think that's something I should be doing. But that's not the case. In Duncan 2006, he says that people, like every one of us, consumes media differently, and that's the same for violence. He's categorized violence into 4 different categories and the way we consume them, namely comic violence, over-exaggerated violence that you see in cartoons or wrestling. So these are the kinds of violence that you see, you know that it's fake, they're going over the top, but you enjoy it because it looks really cool, it looks something interesting, and it's funny. So we watch comic violence. Secondly, we have transgressive violence. So this is violence where pain and suffering is conveyed to a particular character. Have you seen your main character getting tortured before, or suffering, and you empathize with that, you feel their suffering. And in that, because of this drama that you see, we can feel that pain in a safe distance, and we enjoy that. Next is retaliatory violence. So in retaliatory violence, it's retribution, violence for the sake of retribution. So when you see your heroes suffering pain, like Voldemort causing so much strife to Harry Potter, or seeing your favorite Game of Thrones character been through so much, and finally having the villain that caused so much pain brought to justice, you get a sense of pleasure. And the more suffering and pain that the character you had felt, the more pleasure you see when you see justice is brought. That is what we get from retaliatory violence. Now the last violence, which is gratuitous violence. Violence for the sake of violence. Now that's the one where you watch something because you like the violence itself, such as the movie Saw. Some people enjoy seeing people saw off their limbs, or they feel some kind of retreat from that. Or maybe Final Destination, where people die violent and gruesome deaths in a roller coaster or something else. That's gratuitous violence. And in his study, he found that most people fit in the first three categories. Very few watch violence for the sake of violence. So what does this say, ladies and gentlemen? This says that violence is around us all the time, but just because we watch violence doesn't mean that we consume it and we will integrate it into ourselves and commit crimes because of it. Each and every one of us watch violence for a different reason and get enjoyment of it for a different reason. And according to Jones and Houghton, and I agree with him, is that violence was never really a part of our life, was never really foreign to our life before. When we were kids, we've already committed acts of violence before. Have any of you push each other around when you were playing, pretend sword fights, or hit someone just for fun when you were a kid? We are prone to aggression. Aggression has never been left us when we were kids. It's just how we learn to integrate it, how we learn right and wrong, and what we know is fantasy and reality. So ladies and gentlemen, if you think that violence in media is dangerous, it is only dangerous for people who cannot tell what is the difference between right and wrong. Yes, it does cause aggression, and we get frustrated, and sometimes we get a little bit rowdy. But that doesn't mean that just because we get a little bit aggressive, we're going to commit crimes. So, in all of this, if you love violent movies and if you love watching violent sports, as long as you know that you're not supposed to be doing it to someone else, then it's totally okay. And with that, thank you very much. Back to you, Coach Masaki.